Guys, welcome to my channel. So I asked on the community feature what type of feeding video you'd like to see, and you chose this one. So as you can see, I am starting off by giving my guinea pigs hay. It's good to keep their hay topped up throughout the day. Now as it's now early evening, I am chopping up their food. They also have supreme pellets. Now remember, don't give them loads of pellets. So many people will be lazy and just fill up an entire bowl of pellets or that kind of mixed food stuff that you get for guinea pigs, when in reality on the bags of pellets or dry food like this, you can actually see how much you're meant to give them depending on their weight. So I usually just cover the bottom of the bowls, and they still tend to have a little bit left over, but it's important to realize that pellets should not be the main thing they're eating. It should be hay, and then greens, and then pellets. Anyway, I tried to give them as much variety as possible with their veg, but you have to be very thoughtful not to give them something that's too high in calcium, or anything like too many tomatoes. Something like that can give them sores in their mouth, or things like cabbage and bananas and broccoli. Too much of that can cause a lot of bloat. Now, Dougal and Fergal are actually currently indoors. We've had some wet and windy weather lately, and I didn't really want to leave them outside, especially Fergal being so young. So they're actually indoors in their winter hutch, which always looks a lot smaller on camera, but it is actually pretty big. I then take the scraps from the guinea pig food and give it to the feeder insects. You may have noticed in the background I'd been cutting some up and sort of leaving it. So this goes to my feeder insects. I remove any old dried food and give them fresh. Next up we have my chinchilla Ruby. A lot of people don't even know I have her. I've had her nearly 10 years. She actually turned 10 this year. And one thing I've noticed since she's sort of been about 9.5 to 10 is she started to have a bit of a dental issue, and basically I think this is common in older chinchillas and rats, but basically the top incisors will overgrow, and they will grow quicker than the animal can actually gnaw down. So you can see she has a lava ledge in here, and she hasn't even had that long, and she gnaws it all the time. And I can check her teeth. 1 week they'll be absolutely perfect, and by the next they've overgrown. So she's probably had her teeth trimmed 3 times, but what I've read on forums is a lot of people do have to just go back to the vets every month and get them done. It's just a condition they do get when they're older. Unfortunately with chinchillas there's no clear view on like how old is old for a chinchilla. Some people say they'll live up to 10 years, some say 10 to 15, some say 20 years and more. There's no clear answer. Anyway, what I feed her is obviously hay and charnwood pellets. Chinchillas tend to have quite a bland diet. Next up we have my Ember Tetras. Now you can kind of see here they do have a fake plant in their tank. I kind of gave up with real plants since I had just an outbreak of cyan bacteria, I believe it was, and that just killed all the live plants. And what I intend on doing hopefully soonish is to move the Ember Tetras and the snails into a tank that's actually been cycling for over a year. It has live plants in it, and hopefully we don't move the bacteria from this tank to that one. Fingers crossed. Before we get on to the lizards, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who has bought my merch. I absolutely love designing, and I hope to bring out a few more items maybe near Christmas. I know people want Crested Gecko stuff. I'm definitely looking to do that, so always check out my store because I'm sure there'll be new things listed. I did notice the other day when I went to order my own t-shirt, because obviously I want to wear one in these videos, the postage was really expensive to the UK and the rest of Europe. So I realised this is because the products were being fulfilled in the US, but I have done separate listings that you'll see the title has UK/EU at the start, and these are fulfilled in Europe, so the postage will be cheaper and you should hopefully receive them slightly earlier than you would if they're in the US. So don't let that confuse you though, because if you are in the US you can still order from my site. You can actually order from there worldwide, I believe they ship, so don't let that put you off. But thank you so much to anyone who has bought anything. I'll leave links below. But yeah, now on to the lizards. So now we're feeding the geckos, and I'm behind the camera just preparing some Morio worms. We have Diego here. He is very excited for food. So here we go. Now usually I will just put his food in there and he'll go for it, but he seems quite excited today. I don't usually hand feed him because I don't want to get bitten by him, and I don't know how well he is at hand feeding. Why am I so scared? I've had you for years. Why am I... Don't bite me. Oh, good boy. Oh. So with all the food, you want to make sure it's gut loaded at least 24 hours beforehand. But as you saw with the guinea pig scraps, I constantly feed them. So they're constantly chunky, they're constantly growing, they're constantly full of good stuff. Diego, no. Why am I so scared? You'll notice with Morio worms, when you hold them, they release this like liquid, and I think similar to mealworms, some people are like have a reaction to it, so watch out. But yes, everything here is gut loaded and dusted with the correct supplements. That's something a lot of people forget to mention. And even though I am hand feeding him here, usually I will just put the food in his tank and he will hunt it down. Also, if you notice white on any of my Gecko's tanks, it's literally powder. All the supplements. So, yeah. You okay there, Diego? With Morio worms, as mentioned previously, they are not the healthiest of food, so this is a treat. He hasn't had them in a while. He seems pretty hyped. Now, this footage may look a little grainy, and that's because I don't want to put the lights on in their tank. At night, they're better hunters when it's darker. So right now we have a room light on, and it doesn't seem to bother them too much, but I don't really want to put on their UV because it does seem to put them off. Also, you don't want to be using red lights unless they're under 4 lux, because red lights will disturb their day-night cycle. And that applies to all reptiles. So when you see people use red light, unless they're under 4 lux, they will be disturbing their day-night cycle. So we have crickets. You may have heard me putting them in. And if you want to know how to dust them very well, have a good coverage, there's a feeding hacks video. As you can see, she is ready for food, aren't you, Gizmo? Ooh. So with any of my feeding videos, obviously my geckos are eating, but I like to try to educate people. Just throwing a few tips here and there, so it's not just watching geckos eat. Wow, your chin looks kind of chunky, Gizmo. But fabulous. Now next we have Ziggy and Minnie. Now most of the time I'm greeted by them both here and here, and Ziggy is approaching, but something happened the other night. Basically, I thought I lost Minnie, had no clue how on earth she got out, and after 20 minutes of searching I actually found her behind her background. And looking in there today, I feel like she's gone back under there, so if she can keep getting in and out of it, like, hopefully she'll come out and get some food. So right now we're just focused on Zig. Sometimes I like to hold on to the food because it just makes them work a little bit harder. As you saw, she was sort of flicking around. And she's had her 3 and she's done. Like, it's almost like she knows she's only usually allowed like 3. I know Diego had 4, but I kind of gave in with him. So whilst we wait for Minnie to reappear, here is Drogo, and I did try to feed him crickets last night. All come by like doo 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 doo, and then they pounce. So let's be a cricket. Doo 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 doo. But yeah, so in the end I ended up giving him breeding formula by Pangea. But we ended up getting woodlice in here who have eaten it and pooped in it. I don't know if he actually ended up getting it. I decided to put it in there. Usually I have it up here. As you can see, that's where the suction cups are. This is where he has stepped through food and got it on here. So probably going to give him some more food tonight. and there's Lyra. I swear you guys haven't seen her in ages unless you watch my Wayne videos. She's just hanging out. I also fed her last night, so I'm just here to spray, she's still watching, to just spray down her tank. I recently added in Phottonias down here, but like in the other tank, they have got eaten by the woodlice. Unfortunately, I have tons and tons of woodlice. And I added in new soil. And I don't know if the soil was really dry, but basically the zebra plant that used to be here, the leaves just died. So I cut them all down, thinking, you know, maybe eventually they'll grow back. But all I've seen is woodlice. Sort of, I think you can tell actually. I think you can see the discoloration. I think they're actually just gnawing at it and breaking it down. So yes, that is the life of the bioactive tank. But we shall spray this down so she has something to drink. So I finally found Minnie. If the audio sounds a bit different, I am now recording on a microphone rather than my camera, because whilst filming this at the time, I put my thumb over the microphone. So yeah, basically she wasn't in the lower rock where she had been found a few days ago. She was now up in the higher rock in the middle of this background. So I ended up just taking off the entire background. I've been meaning to do like a change in here for ages. So I took the background off, retrieved her. I've been feeding her Morio worms just before filming this bit, but she's all good, and I will be sort of doing her tank over again. I think she just needs something more simple, because obviously her sight's always been a little iffy for her, so if we can make it more simple, that'll be better. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you've been following me on Instagram or even my community feature, you'll know I've had serious problems with my recent videos. Just YouTube is not suggesting them or showing them to a lot of my subscribers. So if you do watch this, you did like it, please can you share it, just because for some reason YouTube doesn't want to share my stuff. Also, it's my birthday tomorrow if you're watching this on the day it's uploaded, so that's exciting for me. Maybe actually it's not, I'm getting old. That isn't fun. Anyway, it's Gizmo's birthday on the 23rd and she will be 12. Anyway, thank you for watching guys, and goodbye.